So this is pretty much the aftermath. As you can see, hey guys, welcome to the channel. It's your boy D again. Today we're going to be changing out the two front wheel bearings. I waited, I did some research, I figured out what parts I need, what tools I need. So let's start. Alright, so for this job you're gonna need a slide hammer and pull set. I bought another breaker bar just because I don't have a press. Okay, so this is what we're gonna use to extract and install our bearing. How do I know if my wheel bearing is bad? It was pretty evident that it was grinding. I thought it was these brake clips, which I was having issues with when I first put the new brake pads on, but this is what we're dealing with, guys. Yeah, I'm probably gonna take the ABS sensor off because I don't want to damage it. I just decided to take it off the coils, drop it, take the axle up. I'm gonna now probably try to bring this up just a little bit so I can put it on the coil just to give me a little bit of leverage. There's some play in the rear here, so the other side, same thing. The other side actually doesn't have any play. Looks fairly good, but we're gonna change it anyways. I had to run out and grab a socket that I forgot. We ran out of daylight. We're gonna set up our slide hammer tool. So pretty much you'll need this. You'll have to put it on here just like that. All right, so we pretty much got our tool set up. You just screw this piece on and then you screw the nut on. It doesn't have to be super tight, just like that, and then we'll put it on. I have just one bolt up top for the front hub. This is how the tool sits. I'm just using 3 lugs. But essentially, you're gonna pull this out just like that. All right, so you get the slide hammer going. It's gonna take a bunch of tries, but you could see where the bearings start to go here. There's a plastic retainer that holds all these roller pins on. You can see it's wearing out. What I'm gonna do now is take out the inside bearing. I recommend the following. So I recommend having 2 half-inch breaker bars. They don't have to be super long. This one's 15-inch. I only had this one, so I purchased a new one. You definitely have to have a 1 and a 1/16 inch socket. This is gonna be for this side, which very important. Without this socket you cannot do this job. I do recommend, if you're gonna do this by hand, pick yourself up something with a lot of torque, because doing it by hand is going to be very difficult. The other thing I recommend is having a 32-inch, which is the same as the axle nut. So if you have the tool for the axle nut, you don't have to purchase another 32. I bought a bigger one just to make life easier. I have 2 now. The 32-inch is gonna be for this part of the tool. All right, so this is your primary cup. So pretty much what you want is to be able to, there's a lip on the backside. You pretty much just want this to fit. You know, you want to have enough space in the middle so that when you push the bearing, it falls right into this cup. This is just the spacer on the back. This is what you're going to have your bolt going through. So I'm going to set it up and show you what it looks like. We pretty much need this tool here. This size, I'll show you, is 95508. So pretty much the way it's going to go is you're going to put it on the inside just like that. And once we start tightening it, it's gonna push this bearing out. So this is how we have it set up, just like that. Have the breaker bar for leverage, and then we just crank this out. So pretty much when we extracted this, the bearing just completely disintegrated. So this is pretty much the aftermath. So for the next part, there's a retaining clip on the inside. It's hard to see. So this is the retaining clip. You could take this out using a flathead. Alright, so we got a little bit of some movie magic going on. So this is actually from the driver's side wheel bearing. As you can see, the gap between this is super large, and so the bearing's essentially dancing around in here. I couldn't get the other one off without risking it actually failing too, so this is what we're going to use for this. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to reverse this bearing, and we're going to get a cup that's just big enough to fit over the bearing so we could push the housing out. Alright, so same setup as last time. Just be very careful with this, and just remember that retaining clip that we took out is because we want to get this inner piece out. So this is the inner piece that we ended up taking out. This is what the bearing essentially, the old bearings essentially grind on or roll on. Clean out this interior and then just be very careful about the surface. Just a side note, so if you do want to do this job the right way, there's two things that they don't really tell you. So this is the grease seal or grease cap, whatever you want to call it. This goes on the back side of the hub assembly. So essentially when you push the initial bearing out, this comes out with it. Don't try to extract this prior to doing that because you'll actually damage it. So you could reuse them, but if I were you, on a car that's like this old, I would replace these. This is the new hub, the press-on bearing that we're going to be using, new grease cap seal. One in the rear, the one in the rear is chamfered a little bit, so the axle can actually seat in that. So this will just go on just like this. I'll just seat on just like that. I'll fill this with grease this up, grease the interior. Alright, so inside is lubed up. I also lubed the bearing up as well. I just have it just positioned in there for now. So this is the reverse setup we got. I'm gonna swap this out, and then we can get cranking. Make sure that the bearing is going in straight and it's not, you know, doing any weird dancing or anything, because you only have one for each hub in the set and you don't want to damage it. Never go wrong with too much grease. The next step is essentially the ring, the retaining ring that we have. We got to put that back. If you have a needle nose, you can essentially do it, but you'll squeeze it and then you'll try to get it in. It's a little funky at first, but there's a little ridge on the inside, and that will essentially be where the ring sits, so we should be good to go. Alright, similar setup to last time. Just remember, grease this up. You got the inner grease cap here, lube, and then on the back side you have the other grease cap that we took out. And just like that, this is in, hub is in, axle's in, axle nut is tight. I gotta put everything back, but y'all don't need to see that. Just like that, it's time for me to hit the road. But guys, thank you for tuning in.